Hey there everybody. I wanted to hop on here and make a quick video and show you guys how I prep for my breakfast. I've shown photos of my overnight oats, but I thought it'd be fun to make a video and show you guys exactly what goes into them and how I make it. Although today's is gonna be a little bit different because I am missing one of my ingredients. So I'm missing my almonds, but I'll tell you how I'm gonna make up for that. So usually this is like a cherry cinnamon almond overnight oats, and I'll tell you how to make that version. But today I'm gonna be using a substitute, some PB2 powder because I am out of almonds. So a quick video on how to make my overnight oats that I created this recipe and have breakfast ready to go in the morning, so you don't have to think about how, to get in a quick plant-based breakfast. You don't have to cook anything. You just pull out of the fridge and it is so good in the morning. I literally wake up and look forward to it and crave it. So here's the deal. So I have this cute little mason jar from a friend's wedding. They gave these to us as a cup. So I've hung on to that. So you can use any type of mason jar or sealable jar. You can get some overnight oat specific ones, but you don't need to. So something that can go in the fridge overnight. Mason jar is a classically accepted overnight oats container, but I'm sure you can use anything that'll seal. So then I use organic quick cook oats. I also like the steel cut. The steel cut are gonna be a little smaller and kind of chewier, have a different texture to them, but you just don't need as much. So I'm gonna use a half a cup of the organic regular quick cook oats. If you go less than that, you're gonna wanna do, more like a third of a cup of the steel cut when I do those. So I'm gonna use the regular oats today. So I'm gonna do a half a cup, just my little 1 cup measure that I kind of use for everything. And this is not baking, so it's not an exact science, but you want to get your oats to milk ratio pretty good. Otherwise it's not going to get, they're not going to get, I guess done is the right word maybe, but it's not going to be the right consistency. So half a cup of oats, and then I do chia seeds. You could certainly do hemp hearts or something else. So chia seeds, I go about 1/8 of a cup. So 1/8 of a cup of chia, right in there. And then this is normally where I do those, just slivered almonds that you can buy. I'll normally do 1/8 of a cup of those, but I'm out. So I'm gonna use, I found this PB2 powder. It's basically like powdered peanuts. So it's like peanut butter, but without the oil or anything else in it. And then this one also happens to have pre and probiotics. And it also, I like it because it adds a little sweetness. I don't do any added sugar, but this is sweetened with monk fruit, so it adds a little sweetness. So normally I put this in, but I do 1 scoop. The serving size is 2 tablespoons. So I do usually about 1 tablespoon. I just do half of it. So today I'm gonna do a full serving and do give or take. Again, I don't measure it, but you sure could. So about 2 tablespoons of the PB2 powder because I don't have my almonds. But if you have the almonds, or you can get them, they make for a good crunch. And like I said, do 1/8 cup of almonds and just 1 scoop of PB2. This is totally optional. I just like adding it in. I like the flavor and I like the sweetness I get because I don't do sugar. So that's the PB2 powder. And then, so for flavoring, I use a couple dashes of cinnamon, because without sugar, cinnamon is gonna give kind of that natural sweetness. And it's tasty. And then I also like to use a little organic vanilla. I just do a little splash. Again, not super scientific, but I'm gonna say it's probably about 1/2 teaspoon if you wanna measure it. About 1/2 teaspoon of organic vanilla. And then I add the best part, which is my cherries. Now, normally I get the organic cherries, but I've not been able to find them at my local grocery store, the frozen organic cherries. And so they've been out, but I did find some at Costco. So I have a huge bag of organic frozen cherries from Costco downstairs, but I want to use these up first. So I get the organic when I can, but I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it. So depending on the size, sometimes you get these cherries and they're huge and sometimes they're smaller. So between like 7 and 10. So I usually just kind of cover the top. So these are pretty big. I'm gonna go with 7 cherries. If they're smaller, you can go some more like 10. So that's the basics. If you wanted to just store some of these in the fridge without the cherries, or sorry, in the cupboard without the cherries, you could do that. So you could make it and then add your cherries in your milk if you wanted to store a couple of these ready to go. But then otherwise you add your cherries if you're ready to make it. And then 1 cup of milk. I try not to do a lot of dairy either. So I'm using almond milk. I will also use macadamia nut milk. I love it. And I go with the unsweetened because I don't use sugar. And when you get used to it, you just don't even need it. This is so much flavor on its own. If you feel like I'm nuts and you want to add something, you could certainly add, you know, some honey or a scoop of sugar to this, but I just don't think it needs it. So once you get your milk in there, it's just got to be all mixed up so your oats get nice and soft in there and everything gets done. So just make sure it's pretty well mixed up. And then in the morning, well, let me tell you this. You can make this anytime the day before and pop it in the fridge overnight, but you're gonna want it in there for a minimum of 6 hours. So if you're making it for like an evening snack or something after a workout later, you wanna make sure you've got it 6 hours in the fridge or overnight for at least 6 hours. It can go longer. So that's why I'm making it in the middle of the day, because I have a minute. All my girls are occupied. And I'm just gonna pop it in the fridge for tomorrow. Then I have a cover. So cover it up. So good. Okay. I love that peanut butter powder. Pop the lid on and then pop it in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow morning stir it back up again. Make sure you get like the oats will kind of settle on the bottom, so I always make sure I get those kind of stirred and mixed in there. And like I said, I don't think it needs any more sweetener. When you get a cherry in each bite, it's perfectly sweet that way. But you could certainly add a little drizzle of honey or something in the morning if you wanted to sweeten it up. But that's my overnight oats recipe. It's really easy. I make it almost every day because I wake up, like I said, and I crave it. You could switch up the fruit, make it your own, but it's a nice simple recipe. If you are new to overnight oats, give it a try and let me know what you think. Thanks.